One. Yeah, we were just talking with Turner. So,
Am I
uh,
am I on there?
oh yeah, you're good.
Oh, there you are.
Good, good. Yeah, what's new, Chris? It's been a little bit.
Honestly, nothing. Nothing at all is new. Um, I wish I had exciting news, but there's nothing exciting in my life to discuss.
Mm,
Sometimes that's good though.
yeah.
I've been getting
Coach.
healthy. I've been trying to I'm doing an extensive clean out right now, getting healthy as possible.
Yeah, you're looking huge, man.
Oh, thank you. I've been getting a lot of tissue work done. I've been going like once or twice a week the last like 2 months. I really got away from it the last couple years really, and just by doing that, I felt so much better in the gym.
Yeah,
So yeah, just trying to make progress, clean and healthy right now.
yeah, that's good, man.
How, how long are you going to do an extensive clean out for?
I don't know, honestly. I don't have like a set plan. I'm doing like a GI phase two right now. Um, I did a GI map a few months ago and had some issues I'm trying to work out with that. So, so I'm supposed to be doing that. I'm kind of half-assing that end of it. I need to be better with it. So, the sooner I can kind of get that all wrapped up, the better. But I don't know. I don't really have any plans beyond that, for competing or anything. Kind of just trying to have a weird goal right now of being healthy as possible. I
Mhm.
know that's not going to get the clickbait we want, but for someone that's been competing for 20 years, I'm in a phase right now where I'm trying to reset a lot of things and get really healthy. And once I reach that, I'll decide what I want to do.
Mhm.
Yeah. I just went this morning. He kind of laughed at me, but I had 14 vials of blood drawn, and I have like a swab, like forced swab test cortisol thing to do and take back. Like, I just want to dive into everything
That's what I'm
and
doing.
see.
I, I know Merrick Health has like changed their packages, but like a year ago, I did like their most extensive package. It was like $1,000 blood work. And I mean, it was like 15, 20 vials they took.
Yeah.
It was very comprehensive. But
Yeah.
now I think they've changed. I used to send everybody there, and now I think it's like $500 for their base panel.
I believe it.
Yeah, so I don't
What
use them anymore.
what did you learn?
I mean, a year ago, um, I never really have anything that's wrong. My cholesterol, my HDL has been shot for years. Liver enzymes are like chronically meh, elevated. Kidneys are good. Um, Cortisol issues, but that's from abusing caffeine for 2 decades. I think that's it really. Thyroid was a little bit wonky last fall. Uh, but that was because I did a show prep and then quit, and I was just did a bunch of other stupid things. But at the time it was wonky, but it's good now. But it's kind of like I'm doing a more extensive clean out now and I had a conversation with this with a few of my clients where like I feel like as bodybuilders, we always have the mentality of like, oh, that doesn't look bad. Oh, that doesn't look bad. Or, oh, for a pro bodybuilder, your labs don't look bad. And it's kind of like, like I'm tired of feeling like shit regardless. I'm tired of like no energy and cognition issues and can't sleep and all these different things. And I think everybody deals with it, but nobody actually just like ever wants to admit that like, oh yeah, maybe I'm not that healthy. Now, granted, like objectively, like my labs are fine, but like I'm tired of getting like a C plus like grade on them or like a B minus, and like I think for once I want to get like an A rating on all my labs and feel good about it.
Yeah, that's understandable. I did a GI map 2 years ago. Now, for you, when you got the results, uh, Was it pretty much like everything suspected, or were there like some surprises with different like sensitivities?
Um, so surprisingly, my GI map wasn't that bad. Um, I did it. What was I gonna say? My main issue is always like my abuse of stimulants. That's kind of been um my kryptonite for so many years. And when my GI map read, I had leaky gut. It wasn't too bad. My good bacteria was low. Um, I had some stomach acid issues, and then there was quite a few different like bad bacteria overgrowths. Um, which is, what I'm in right now. I'm doing like a kill phase right now. But, objectively, I didn't have a parasite or anything like that. So it's something that I can clean up relatively fast, but like, you got to go all in on that GI phase whenever you want to get it done, or you're not really doing anything. So,
Yep.
Right.
how was
Yeah.
yours whenever you got it done?
It was, let's see, I think there was like one or two small surprises, but the main thing that I thought was an issue, which was chicken, it was like I think they label it red or like the highest like
You did a sensitivity test.
I thought I did
I
it.
was going to say, because I didn't have that on my test.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a sensitivity test.
yeah. Yeah,
Sensitivity. That's what I did.
not GI.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's what I did. It was that, and then I think eggs was like medium, which eggs is kind of just comes and goes. I've had, egg sensitivities, and then I cut them out, then I bring it back in.
Yeah.
But it was, I guess, pretty much everything I suspected. Nothing too crazy.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I think my thing with all of that is like, well, there's a couple things. As bodybuilders, I think or maybe that's just what people are doing today, but it's like, well, I've got this in my blood work, or I've got this in my blood work, so I'm going to take this. I'm not going to change anything that I'm doing. I'm just going
Yeah.
to take this supplement. And so you have these coaches out here who claim to like they can read blood work and they're specialists when it comes to like getting blood work looking good, but I think it's the extensive time off and doing the things that you guys are doing and finding out what it is, and then when you find out what it is, fix that for an extensive amount of time, and then run with that before you get back to saying, all right, well, I got my bloods looking good now. It's back to like, let's hammer down for a prep, and then just shoot them down again. And when you take a step back from competing, I think you look at things a little different. Like how much muscle I'm going to put on this year, or how much harder I'm going to push myself this year versus the last prep, and things like that. And so I've always said it doesn't make a lot of sense to negate my blood work issues by just taking a supplement that's bringing it down. You know what I mean? That supplement's supposed to bring it down and make it look good. But like, what happens if we clean out for 12 weeks and see what that's actually going to look like? Now, I don't think our blood work should look like the average person either. I think there's a happy medium there versus like, all right, Chris is 270 pounds, you know, at 10 or 12% body fat and eating 6,000 calories a day. I don't know, but I'm just throwing numbers out there versus the person that eats two times a day and snacks all day and drinks lots of sodas and, you know, has smoked for 10 years and drinks alcohol on the weekend. Like, I really don't think our blood work should look a lot alike.
Yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
And I think that when you go to a doctor and he's like, okay, I want to, monitor your labs and this and that and this and that, it's like he's looking for what he thinks there's a range where you should be in. And I think that I wouldn't say we're much healthier than those people, but I also think that like our bads are different bads than the other people. And that doesn't mean we should just take a bunch of supplements to make it look good and not worry about why it's actually bad.
It's the same thing. I mean, the conversation goes the opposite way too, where like I can't tell you how many guys, I feel like we talked about this before, but I can't tell you how many guys have gotten their testosterone done and their readings like a 309. And the doctor with a straight face will be like, yeah, you're in range. You know what I mean? And there's a difference between being in range and being optimal and being healthy and being like superior, you know. That goes with the bad and with the good.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't think someone that carries, 50 pounds of muscle, lean tissue muscle, I don't think their blood work is going to look like a marathon runner who's carrying 8 pounds of muscle and he's 5% body fat. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, for sure.
I mean, we're both putting wear and tear on our body. It's just in different forms. So I don't know. I have my ways I feel about all that stuff, and I know we all think a little bit different, but we kind of, I mean, we have a similar sense of what we see and what we'll allow, and then our clients are totally different. They're just like, just get me big. Like we'll do blood work later. Let's just get me big.
Mhm.
Yeah, isn't it crazy? I was talking to my buddy about this a few weeks ago, and like all of us have been around for a while, right? We've been competing for a long time. And, if you look back, let's go back 15 years, and it's like, yeah, I got my blood work done, or like I've always had a gastroenterologist for the GI issues, right? So I had to get blood work routinely all the time. So that was just a normal thing for me. And then he would kind of go over the panels with me, and I started to kind of, you know, log everything and just keep track. Oh, this does this and this does this and all that stuff just for my personal records. But for the most part, if you go back, no one was talking about blood work. And I'm not saying like, guys were or weren't dropping like flies, but it's just like it just wasn't a thing. Like you may get in like once every couple of years, like for the average male bodybuilder, but it wasn't a thing. And now it's just like blood work, blood work, blood work. I think to where people do get overly obsessed with it. Like, oh my
Sure.
gosh, I'm like, my HDL is like three points less than last time. What do I do now? You know?
I think everybody gets obsessed with everything. I mean, it's you could talk about that with training.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like whenever the first 10 years of weightlifting, for chest, we did incline, flat, and dumbbell. And now there's 3,000 chest machines in every gym. And it's like, how can we optimally train on all of them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's everything. Everything is like so science based now. When is cardio? What's your heart rate? I mean, look at peptides in the last year where it's just like literally in 1 year. Like a year ago, like nobody was talking about half this stuff, and now it's like the biggest clickbait thing on the planet. And it's just yeah, everybody's obsessed with like pep. I think bodybuilding's turning into this, it's more like a health-based sport in some weird way now where everybody gets like such a hard on for like taking peptides for their blood glucose and their mitochondria and everything. And it's just like, dude, we didn't give a shit about that back then.
Yeah.
And that's yeah.
The crazy thing, Chris, is like if you think about it and like you put everything on paper, we always go back to this. You guys know it's the classic, 90s, 2000 versus today, right? If we look at the last 20 years about how far we've actually advanced with the peptides, with the knowledge, with the training, all the machines, right? I mean, don't you guys think we should be like well beyond what we've seen in the past with all the stuff now? Like you think of like, like a Dorian Yates or a Jay Cutler or Phil Heath, and it's like, shouldn't we just be like obliterating those physiques now with all of this stuff readily available?
100%.
And it goes back to is science based, bullshit? Like,
Well, we saw in Generation Iron Science Base was not the answer.
My
Yeah.
biggest thing with all that is, and I know you've probably had a podcast where you've talked about this 47 times, but it's like no one can really figure out why the 90s was so great and then the 2000s was, pretty awesome, and then like where we are now, it's like all the questions you just asked. And I don't care what anyone says. It's not the drugs are underdosed, it's not they're faked, it was better back then. The problem is there's way too much information. There's way too many people that are in the gym playing on their phones. You never seen Jay Cutler, Ronnie Coleman, any Mike Mincer, any of those guys in the gym with a cell phone. You've never seen a training video off of a cell phone in the gym. Those guys didn't like. I don't think most of those guys had a cell phone back then, but you hear them all say, "I left my cell phone in the car," or "I didn't," it was on. And I don't care if it's on Do Not Disturb and it's in your gym bag. Like everybody goes in there and changes a song or changes a radio station, or you go to the bathroom and we all grab our phone and take our phone to the bathroom. Like that's the downfall of bodybuilding now, and that's why we're not getting any bigger. And then, like Chris always refers to, is the clickbait. It's like, well, clickbait's making me money. I'm a shitty bodybuilder, but clickbait's making me money. And I'm just like, I don't know how many times you can fucking wrap that up in a different package and try to ask people why is bodybuilding not as great as it was. It's the fucking cell phone. Like I get it. We have made a living off of our cell phone and how we can promote ourselves out there, but like all of our training has went down. I'll be the first one to say, like, it's not when you go to change your cell phone or change your radio. It's when you're looking for a new radio station and that text message pops up across the top, and it's that one client that's always giving you an issue, and you're like, God damn, now I gotta fucking answer him or whatever. Like that's why our training is not. When you pick that phone up and you go to the bathroom, it takes your mind off that next set, how that last set just went, and it's like I'm making a conscious effort now to not be in the gym as long. And that's another thing. Like we don't need 2 hour workouts. And everyone's like, how did Dorian Yates do it in 40 minutes in and out? He didn't have a fucking cell phone. He wasn't worried about recording his fucking workout. It's period. I mean, it's that simple, guys. I don't I don't I mean, there's a lot of things that I break it down to its simplest form, and I can give you an answer of what I'm very confident it is, but it's like every other podcast is going to be like, well, do you think it's the steroids that we're getting from China is not legit steroids? I mean, is China trying to sabotage us? I don't know. I'm kind of like, what the fuck are we talking about now?
Well,
Don't take your cell phone in the gym and you could win nationals, period. But
I
people
think
can't
it's
get it.
I think it's what we already talked about. I mean, it's the obsession with being optimal. And I think
Yeah.
it's changed everything from like, I remember like, and I still believe this, but it was like fasted cardio is king. And now it's like I can't say that without getting 50 people commenting like, well, scientifically it's not king. And it's just like, all right, like, okay, well, I won shows by doing fasted cardio and
And the
I could
steroids, this,
yeah, I could visibly see a difference. And it's just like one of the biggest things now with science is steps over cardio,
yeah.
where how many people do you see now that like you tell them to do 20 minutes of like intense cardio or 30 minutes and they're walking on a treadmill? Or like, dude, and this is, I hate to say this, but like, I remember 10, 15 years ago, and I hate making that statement, it's so cringy, but 10, 15 years ago in the magazines, every bodybuilder was on the stepper every morning, fasted cardio on a stepper. And it was just like, and that was just like, I remember I had a stepper. I bought a stepper, one of the step mills from my old place, because that was what you needed to go pro. And now everybody's got their watch with their step counts. And then, like, so they don't even know how to go hard on cardio. You know what I mean? And then the
And
other
don't
big
go too hard. Don't go too hard because you'll burn
that's the
muscle.
thing is you don't want to go too hard. You don't want to burn the muscle and everything. And now it's also the peptides where the only thing anybody wants to talk about is Retta. And because it's okay, you don't need to diet hard now. You don't need to fight the hunger pains anymore. It's the obsession of how can we but we're more healthy. It's cleaning up our markers by doing it and all of that. And it's even the GI conversation. Nobody gave a shit about GI 10 years ago. You
No.
know what I mean? I remember when I started, it was, I was 12, 16 ounces of protein every meal. And now it's like, well, that's 500 grams of protein. You're going to kill yourself. And it was just like, uh, it's the give and take of just like the science. It's like we lost the work ethic in the science. It hasn't balanced out. So like what we gained in knowledge, we lost in like the raw tenacity. And that's why I think the physiques haven't changed. I mean, yeah, there's science to a degree. How much can they change? But I think it's the quality at all the shows. The top is always going to be the cream of the top. But I think the one thing we can agree with is the quality at the regional shows and even some of the national shows. But then, that's another, then you factor in social media and how bodybuilding's changed. There's a lot of other things that are going to impact that. But that's my little rant is like, I see it all the time. One of my biggest things is like the steps where like people don't know how to do cardio anymore. And then they don't know how to train. And then, one other thing, because I could just keep going on about this. One of the biggest mistakes people make in the gym now is the form is too perfect. And I tell clients about this all the time where they're doing a pull and they pull and then they squeeze it and then they hold it and then it's like a 3-second release. And it's just like, dude, it's going to take you 12 years to jump up 20 pounds on that exercise. And I forget what podcast I was listening to actually. It might have been John Jewett actually that said this, but like everybody's chasing that A+ on a form. And it's just like you got to lower it to like a B-. You need to use some intensity. You have at some point in time, you got to push some weight, you got to pull some weight. And like this mentality that you're gonna be training your back forever with like an 80-pound dumbbell row, like you're just not gonna grow.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what I love? I've been seeing it lately is where like they've got the ab thing. They've got the ab thing that's hooked on the lat pull down and they've got it right here. So they're stretching their lat out and then they're pulling down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what is fucking icing on the cake to me is when they put the D ring handle in their hand so they can hold something. Like it makes them feel like they're doing like a lat pull down. Like this is not connected to anything. Their lat is connected to this, but instead of just doing right this, they have to put the handle in their hand, and that's like
Yeah.
gives me that optimal, what the fuck ever they call it. I'm just like, holy cow. Like I'm to the point now with I used to like every video Chris would post, I would watch it, I would like it, I would comment because like that was a little bit of like motivation to me. Like and Chris is always motivation to me because of the way he trains, because I think it's raw, it's intense, and I think that's what I fell in love with. But it's all the other bullshit people that we follow because it's like, I want to follow people because I want to see what's out there and this and that. But it's like, there's so much out there that it's like, everybody that posts a training video, I just scroll past it. It's like, I don't care. I know what works and I don't want to see you take all that contraption that I just talked about. It's like, I don't care anymore. I know what a lat pull down does. I know what a single arm lat pull down does. I know what a row does. You can alternate where your elbow is to, hit different parts of the back, but it's like I don't care which brand is superior to what you think or what this person thinks. Like it doesn't matter if it's hammer strength, if it's a barbell, just go in there and just rip. That's all you got to do. Don't count reps, don't count sets, just rip. And that's like how is that? It's so simple. Chicken and
Well,
rice will get the fucking
well,
job done.
I have a comment on the steps thing, just going back before we get too far away. Do
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
you see this? And it drives me insane because I know it's not good. The people who are circling the gym in between sets, getting their steps. So now you're taking like about what, 2 minutes in between sets because you're taking a lap around the gym. Well, what's that doing to your glycogen too? Like that you're supposed to be using for your workout.
You
But
know
we're
what?
obsessed with steps.
Yeah, I agree. I see it. You know what? You know what I think this is
Hey,
going to
hold
be a
on.
little bit.
It's like 67 in your gym, so it's not like they're like going hard. You know what I'm saying? And their
Well,
workout,
that's why it's
to be
optimal.
fair, is not that intense. Like let's just be honest. If you can stroll across the gym after a back day or in between every set of a back day or a leg day, there's a good chance there that you're not fucking training hard. I don't care if it's fucking I don't care. Like I can remember granted I was going way heavier than I should, but like side raising like 45s and plus like that, like or 50s or whatever. Like you mean to tell me that if you watch a Branch Warren video from back in the day when he was training, do you think he had the energy to go stroll around the gym and then come back and grab those again? No, he's like huffing and puffing like he just Rockied the steps. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now.
I think that there's two things I wanted to say. I think one thing that gyms and people need and that's lost, I think the toxic masculinity, losing that has actually negatively affected the sport. And what I mean by that is like, a lot of things used to be a big dick measuring contest, and it just doesn't exist anymore. Like it used to be a very manly and a very, I think that losing some of the ego drivenness of like who's the hardcore guy in the gym, how much do you bench, how much do you squat, how much do you dead? I think that's been blended out with a refined optimal masculinity. That's the best way I can put that. I just remember being, 10 years ago where it was just like you trained for 2 hours because you were an alpha male. You know what I mean? But this is going to be very, that was when it was just bodybuilding. And then now there's more classes, it's a whole different sport now. So like I think that has affected it to a degree. The one other comment I wanted to make is I think what a lot of people don't realize, this is going to be a little bit off topic too, and we'll all understand this, is people simply just don't train hard enough. And I see this all the time in the gym. I'll see it with clients or other people where it's just like, at some point in time, it doesn't matter how good of a coach I am. It doesn't matter how perfect your diet is. It doesn't matter how perfect your supplement plan is or how optimal it is. You know, you see it a lot with lifestyle clients. It's like, oh, well, what can I do? What can I train at home? And like, they're doing their dumbbells and at home, or their band workout at home, burning, 13 calories. But it's like, the same thing goes for bodybuilding and for sports where it's just like you need to go into the gym every day and like you're essentially like chiseling your physique. And I feel like that's kind of been lost a lot where it's like, you're trying to punish your physique, you're trying to break barriers. Like,
Mhm.
like I remember Turner years ago talking about this and doing stuff like this. Like you don't see the 30 rep leg press sets anymore. You don't see the 30 rep squat sets, because that's not optimal. But like anybody that's ever done, we talked about this a
Yeah.
long time ago, but like, you want to get your legs to grow, do squats for sets of 20, 30 reps. But like, and that crazy like training outside the spectrum is gone. And like how many times you see people in the gym just like between sets, just like sitting there. And then even worse, sitting there on their cell phone, like
Yeah.
Turner said. And it's just like, honestly, man, start doing supersets. Like do something. Like you're not pushing the single set hard enough, and then like there's no intensity in your workout, period.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big reason why physiques, and if I want to keep going with this rant, it's like, okay, hire a trainer, hire your local coach, pay for personal training sessions because whatever you're doing by yourself, like you simply just don't train hard enough. I think a lot of people don't understand that. Like I don't think it's like a malicious thing or like a accident. I think it's an accidental thing, but like you just see it all the time where it's like, I hate the phrase reps in reserve, but they're doing sets with reps in reserve of like 17.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or they're like, the problem I have with reps in reserve is like everybody or like the majority of people are already training with reps in reserve. They don't know what true failure is. Like they already have 2 reps or 4 reps or 6 reps in the tank. And that's why you're never changing. And I'm sorry, but stacking 4 different peptides on top of your current cycle isn't going to all of a sudden build your back whenever you don't know how to properly train to failure.
Look, I was gonna say this like 10 minutes ago, and you just kind of like led me there and led me there and led me there. But like one of my most favorite parts of being a coach or a trainer, whatever you want to call it. Like, and I know you guys have done this, you probably get so much satisfaction out of it like I do, but say you got a client from out of town and they've come to town, they want to train with Chris for 2 days. Like, let's get a back workout and let's get a leg workout in. All right, so we're getting warm, blah blah blah. We're moving to the hack squat, and now we've got 2 plates on there, and when depending on the hack squat, 2 plates is starting to get a little heavy for most people. All right, and they're like, okay, coach, how many do you want? And I always say, listen, we're gonna go until I say fucking stop. And that's not like I am going to bust your ego, but like I want to see, and that's the thing. Like they can send me 18 videos of every different direction with a tripod and this and that, but when I'm standing there right next to you and I'm holding the lever to put the weight down, that's when we're fixing to get some work done. And so we're on, and I don't know, I'm really good at this, and you guys are too. That's why you're so good at your job, proficient. And so when they're like, you can see their knees are starting to shake and buckle, and they're like wigging the fuck out, and you're like, all right, now I want three more, and they're like, all right, we're going to take it one at a time. We're going to do deep breaths. You're going to come down and go up just like you did the last 18 because it was supposed to be a set of 10, but you've been sandbagging. So we're going to get three more. And it's like that one came up halfway, it was about a 70%. The next one was about a 60%. The next one was 50. And they're like, are you going to put it down? Are you going to put it down? Nope. I want another one. And that's when you just fucking crush them. And I don't mean bury them in the hole. I want from if parallels right here, I want from here to just like and then when you shut it, you let them sit down, they just collapse. That's how you get muscle to grow. That's how you get muscle to grow. I don't care what body part you're training, that's how you grow. And until you can tap into that and train in that, whether it's hire a coach like Chris said, or find a workout partner, or just do it by yourself, you're gonna spin your wheels
You
and
know
you're
what the
gonna
thing
think,
is though? You don't see that on Instagram. You're not seeing those type of those sets. You're not seeing somebody, I just got deep tissue work done today and the guy made a comment. He's like, we should put the camera right in your face for like whenever you're getting worked on to see the expressions. Whenever the content you see on social media, it's fluff. It's pretty stuff of like all these fancy machines and it's like, your local pro or whoever getting a pump set. You're not seeing somebody's face on a squat where they're doing that like and they can see that how hard they're being trained. Everything is fluff and now honestly with everyone's short attention span, the videos aren't even a full set. So you're
yeah,
seeing like you're seeing somebody doing a leg press where it's like the first 3 reps of the set and they probably rack it whenever they should have done 17 more. But like people aren't seeing that tenacity. It's just like the cardio where like honestly what I should do for my own coaching is build a tutorial where I should videotape somebody that's literally sprinting up a stairmaster. And so they say, like, okay, this is intensity that's like drenched in sweat, you know, sitting there like this, cruising IG, like one hand on the railing, you're not doing anything.
no,
Like, you're not. So,
We
and
talked
that's why,
the other day, like I've never been a person when I'm doing cardio that I can even focus enough to do anything on my phone. It has to be up on the machine with either music or my 600-pound life. That's what I
yeah,
watch during cardio. Like my
you're
brain,
fighting to
I'm
just stay
doing
on the
cardio.
machine.
Like, so I can't, like, my brain isn't functioning to like make a post or anything.
Yeah,
I love the people that take their what's it's got a name, but like let's just say an iPad, and they're like swiping pages, and I'm like, dude, I can barely fucking hit next on my music. Like I'm fighting to stay on the stepper, and like to me, it takes a good when you cross over into prep mode and you're doing prep cardio, like that's a different mindset as off season cardio. Because off season cardio, I can see your 20 minutes where you're texting back to a client or updating a plan or whatever, but and I don't think incon treadmill needs to be like this. People are like, well, you don't need to be hanging on and you don't need to be doing this, and like th- you don't need to be walking up a hill like this, but it needs to be a very gradual incline. And the same thing with the stepper. Like you need to be squeezing, contracting, stretching, stepping, all those things. And I hate that we have to have these rants where it's like, when are people going to fucking learn? But I don't know what we got to do for them to
let me,
learn.
I got one more thing to say about it too. This is my thing with fasted cardio, and this is why I will live and die on it forever. So, in previous preps, it usually starts out like 20 minutes or 30 minutes at what, 16 weeks out, and then it gets up to like 45 minutes typically. Okay. Now, what do we know with fasted cardio is you get deeper and deeper into prep, the minutes usually come up, but then also your energy starts to sag. Okay. So like, yeah, you might have felt great at 8, 12 weeks out, but now you're 4 weeks out, and yeah, people start to hang on to it. I remember my thing is, I remember I'd start and then in the beginning, I was like a cup of coffee, before fasted cardio. And then that would turn into a fat burner, whatever that might have been throughout the years. So we'll say like hydroxycut at some point in time. And then the problem is you take hydroxycut for so many weeks, or you wake up, you no longer feel the 300 mgs of caffeine. So then I remember I would start to add like a cup of coffee because like I had to kickstart the hydroxycut. And what is it? The public announcement, whatever for that. I'm not recommending that for anybody, but what that allowed me to do is the energy came down over prep. I was continuing to push the threshold of the cardio, and therefore I'd be 2, 3 weeks out sprinting up that like stairmaster. And you know what? I was seeing new lows every week. So
Mhm.
like that's and that's what people don't realize. Like intensity matters so much for weight training, and the same thing happens in the gym. Like what happens with like intensity in the gym is you get closer and closer to the show. Yeah, you felt great at 8 weeks out, but now it's 4 weeks out, and you're dragging your ass just to get in the gym. Like so that's what you have to do. Keep the intensity up. And I remember for me, that's what I would do. I also remember, for example, like I used to wake up uh like meal prep and take my fat burner, and then like my energy would crash so bad it turned into I need to wake up, take my fat burner and get to the gym as fast as possible because it's like I had 15 minutes of energy after I took it, and then it bottomed out. But I was intelligent enough to realize I need to restructure my morning to get the high quality of the calorie burn in for that fasted cardio. It's like people don't think of that, or they don't like put that two and two together. And us as coaches, it's I think that's a hard thing where I mean I've told people, and I mean I'm sure there's clients of mine that are going to watch this, where I said I want you to sprint your ass up at Stairmaster. Like cardio sessions or another workout that's a chance for you to win your show. So like, okay, you got 20, 30 minutes of fasted cardio, and then you got your weight training session in the evening. That cardio session isn't just a checkbox. That's you. That's where you're going to win the show. Like you sprint up that stairmaster. Like I don't give a shit about your heart rate. I want you sprinting up that stairmaster. Now, again, that's a little bit extreme. Some people are going to say that, they're going to criticize that, but it works.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
coming from a
I
national
love that.
champion.
Exactly, it works. That's what I did.
I love it, man. And the other thing too is like there is something to be said too about the mental aspect. Like after you complete that, you feel like you're accomplished. You just
Yes.
feel good. So like whether you're in sales or you're a therapist or whatever your job is, you're gonna start your day off better with that fasted cardio. I don't care what the science says. If I feel better, I'm gonna sell more that day. I'm gonna perform better. And I know not only did I check the box, I'm gonna win the show, like Chris said, and I don't have to worry about anything until my training session at night.
Mhm.
The thing with fasted cardio, I mean, since we're talking about this, let me throw this 2 cents out. Dude, anybody that's done fasted cardio and done it intense, that appetite just erupts. Okay. Like, dude, I mean, if I mean, there's this rarely happens, like, because believe it or not, like, I don't have to do it with many people, but like, when I see this most, I see this most in kind of like young guys that are just kind of lazy. They couldn't eat as much food in the off season, and then it comes time for show time. Like, I think of one kid that was like, we tried putting on size in the off season, and I tried feeding him and feeding him and feeding him. He'd miss meals, he'd miss meals, he'd miss meals. So then when you go into prep, he's supposed to be eating X amount of calories, but like week after week, you're cutting food back and like nothing's hitting yet because he never nailed his off season. So like, you're 8 weeks into prep, you got to keep cutting it, keep cutting it. And this is very rare But in those situations, I do just keep upping the cardio and I do just keep cutting the food because it's like, okay, eventually you're gonna get hungry.
Absolutely.
Okay, you cut that food. Like, I'm sorry, man, you should have eaten in the off season. We could have dieted a lot easier now. But since you didn't push food in the off season, you're now gonna diet off of a bikini competitor's diet. And that's just you're gonna get your ass burnt on his first show. And that's it. And I suggest you go find a fat burner or you start drinking some coffee before that cardio. And
But that's
I've
why
had
you
that.
keep some cardio in the off season. And I don't care what you say or what Jay Cutler said, and now you're going to try that, and you're 178 pounds or whatever. Like, I don't care that you're 178 pounds and that you're a hard gainer and this and that. Well, I'm going to give you 20 minutes cardio 4 to 5 days a week, and that's going to keep your appetite up. Because when I crush you with food, like I do most people in the off season, you're really not going to be able to eat. So if your body's not expending those calories at any point in the day, and I love when people are like, "Ugh, you're going to make me do cardio in the off season? Like, don't you know I'm trying to grow? Don't you know I've been doing this for X amount of years and I've been 270 pounds at 5'5"? Like, I got it, bro. Chill out. This is why you hired me. And like, it's not like I don't know half of the pros in the pro league. Like, I got it. I'm not just coming up with weird shit. And that's the thing that bothers me. There's so much stuff out there that nobody trusts a coach now. And
Yes.
it's like, when your friends in the gym, they want to come ask you a million questions because they're like, you're the big guy. I watch you train and like you're always here and you're always got a big pump and veins popping. But the second they hire you as a coach, it's like, well, I was talking to my buddy, man, and he does this. And after watching this podcast with somebody I've never heard of, don't know a show that he's ever won, but you watch his podcast religiously. And like the Sam Sulek, I get it. Like he's making a ton of money and they just eat that shit up. But like, what has Sam done? I mean, okay, he's got a pro card now, but I feel like almost that was a gift. And I don't think the class that he won was that good. But that's nor here nor there. That's just a disgruntled bodybuilder coming out of me. But
I want to hear that. Let's come back to that at some point. Take a note.
okay.
I want to hear Turner Riddle's thoughts on Sam Sulek.
Honestly, I don't keep up with it because it's like I told you about your training. I used to watch I used to post big motherfucking back day on every back post and all that shit. Like we went back and
You
forth
remember
for
that? What was it? The balls deep set of the week? What was that?
I
yep.
remember
And,
that.
and
Yeah.
I won that shit like 3 times. And it's like, and so my way of giving back was because they would send me like a bullshit t-shirt or we're gonna give you 10% off of one of these codes or whatever. Like when that stopped and that podcast or group or whatever was done, I was like, you know what? That shit motivates me. I'm gonna do one for the guys and one for the girls, and I'm gonna send $100 out to people that whoever I think wins that. And in my mind, I'm like, dude, I was doing that shit for free. So $100, that could buy you a tub of protein, that could buy you a new pair of Atomics, that could buy your week's chicken. I don't know, but it was like eh, it was crazy. And I still had people do it, and there were some good sets, but I was like, man, when I was in the gym and I was thinking of like, all right, this is gonna be that fucking set. Let's record this one right here. I would bury these people. And but I mean that's what motivated me was knowing that like I know I've been on record and saying this a million times, but and you guys probably think the same. When I would train with someone, and my everyday training partners never would do this. They just knew that like we're just going to train until Turner's ready to go to the next machine, blah blah blah. But I'll have somebody new that comes in and wants to train, and let's just say we're on a hammer strength row machine or whatever, and they're like, that's one set. He does his set. That's 2 sets. He's done his sets. Hey man, how many sets are we going to do here? Now that you said that, we're going to do it until I feel like I've brutalized you, and then we'll go to the next one, and then I'll do the same thing there. Like I got a lot of satisfaction out of that because I can already tell you're ready to go. We're going to keep doing it. Like that was like, did you guys play sports in high school or you
Yeah.
know college or whatever? Like I feel like if you ever ask coach, like, coach, when are we going to get water? Or coach, how many times do we have to run this play? He's like, all right, guys, Turner just earned you 30 more up downs. We're going to do them until Turner's ready to
Oh yeah.
stop doing it. You know what I'm saying?
That was
Every
like doing
time.
bear crawls. Bear crawls or like wind sprints in football.
Yeah,
You know,
and
you
you
just
didn't
shut your
want
mouth. If anybody said anything, you'd have to do
exactly.
another lap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You did not want to be the guy that said, "Hey,
Yes.
coach,
Yes.
I got homework today," or "What the fuck?" You know, he's like, "All right, keep it going."
Line them up.
Yep. Everybody thank Turner, and then that's when
You
everybody's,
know what?
"Man, what the fuck, dude?
You
Turner."
know what was good about that too? If anybody was sandbagging, you would have to keep running. So like if anybody started half-assing, it was like, okay, line them up. So like you were dead. But it was
Yes.
like don't let coach see me like half-assing it. Don't let coach see me half-assing it. They would just run you into the ground.
Oh, dude, I got chill bumps talking about that because, like I lived that shit. Now it's like you said, it's like reps in reserve. Like, oh, let's not push them too hard because it's 85 outside and they got a game in 4 days. Like, I'm just saying, like that's the mentality now. Whether it's training, whether it's dieting, like he's been in a caloric deficit for 7 days now. Do you think he should probably have a refeed? Uh, no. I mean, we got 4 weeks to get the rest of the fat off. I don't think he needs a fucking refeed.
Yeah,
Uh,
that hit when you were talking about that, man. I used to be a sprinter, so I ran track, and it was just like Chris was saying. They would take us to this hill, and it'd go up the hill. We'd have to sprint up it, and then we'd have to sprint down. If you did not sprint down, your ass was gonna be running that until it was like every single man on the team was running at full force.
Yeah, and then headed back to the locker room, and then the next day, everyone's like, "Turner, keep your fucking mouth shut, dude. Don't say that shit
Yep.
again. I don't want to have to run all day." You know what I mean? Like, what? Where's that?
Yeah, yeah. The
Made
other
the
thing
team better
too.
though. It made the team better.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. That's how you build. That's how you build chemistry. And I think the same thing with coaching. Like when you can, and I hate to say this because it doesn't come off right, but when you brutalize a client, like you run them through the gauntlet of the diet along with the training and the cardio, like you feel a different way towards them after the fact. You're like, you know what, you toughed that shit out and you didn't make a peep. Like I got mad respect for you. And then you hope that they're kind of like, all right, I got coach's good graces now, like I just got to keep doing what I'm doing. But it's like,
You
I
can
know Chris.
definitely you can definitely earn respect. I mean, I've been there before where I've seen the food some of these guys are eating, and I'm just like, ooh, I know you're hungry.
Yeah.
we
It's
talk
just
about
they
this
keep
like
eating it, they don't say a word, and I'm just like, you know what, man? Low key, I won't say this, but yeah, like you have her my respect.
Absolutely.
yeah, we talk about this like going back to like the sports analogy. Like we all played sports. A lot of times we'll see to where like someone hasn't played sports. So they haven't been pushed, they haven't been challenged. So it's like no matter what it is, when you challenge these clients and they actually do it, they come out a better person in their job, in their daily activities, in their financing. Like you're actually just
100%.
making them a better person if they can do it. And the people that like push back or I don't know if I can do that or they think cardio is optional. I've been getting that one lately. Like cardio is just optional now. Like we're fucking 4 weeks out from a show. Cardio is just optional. Like, are you kidding me? Do you even want to win?
Doesn't that make you stop for a second and reflect, like, man, I'm a shitty fucking coach. How did I not express? How did I not express how did I not get that message across? Am I that shitty of a coach that like they would make that mistake or even think that that was an option?
Yeah, I mean that's a good point, man. Like I said, I've been seeing that a lot where it's just like how much how many cardio sessions are we gonna miss? Like,
I just feel like it's part of the younger generation too, because like I wasn't a big athlete. I was a wild child, but I had a good work ethic that I was raised with. And if I said I was going to do something, I was going to do it. And so I mean, I did preps where I did 2 hours of cardio a day. I just did it. Like it didn't matter what I felt like. I got up, I did it, and check your box, right? Uh, but now it's like I have so many people that aren't even close to 2 hours of cardio a day, and they're like, "Oh my God, this is so much cardio." And I'm like, I know girls who've done 3 hours a day. I don't like, I thought, hey, my two is pretty good compared to that. Like it's like the minute they get past like 30 minutes a day, they're like, oh my God, this is a
I
lot.
think I think again, I think that comes back to the content that's out there because for some reason, like I'll come across it where it's like you got so many like Joe Jabronis on Instagram now that like they're just dying to post something, and what they're posting is basically like, how can I shit on this top coach? How can I shit on Nick Walker? Or how can I shit on Chris Bumstead? Or how can I shit on Turner Riddle? Like, and prove that he's an idiot. We're like, yeah, Turner's saying that, you gotta, or Chris DiDomenico is saying take 500 migs before your Stairmaster in the morning. And like, that's idiotic. And it's just like, you see it all the time where like these guys, they post the content and it's literally them just shitting on other coaches and other athletes.
Mhm.
But like, and I think that's where it's at, where it's like 9 times out of 10, it's somebody that's never done anything or like has no real body of work, which I posted about that many times. I don't know how people are taken serious or have any sort of like right to speak whenever they have no body of work or they've never competed. They've never. So that I get it. Like, yeah, not everybody has to compete or be a good bodybuilder to be a good coach, but like,
Or be good at making content.
or yeah, like at least like put like star athletes out, but they won't do that. And it's just like, but yet people believe them. And I don't know. But I think that's why that, people are just like, wow, 30 minutes of cardio, an hour of cardio, 2 hours of cardio. Like, because, Sam Sulek said in one of his videos at some point in time, this isn't optimal or something. So now it's like that's gospel over your coach.
Yeah, you
Like the
guys will
one
love
thing I
this.
go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. So I have an ex-client of this year, no joke, guys. And I know it's been talked about on other podcasts, literally using ChatGPT as his coach.
Oh, yeah.
And towards the end of the prep, I found out he's uncoachable. He's one of those types of clowns.
Mhm.
And towards the end of it, like we had a man-to-man discussion, and I'm like, tell me what is the problem? Like, tell me the problem. I'm like, I need the feedback so that we can be on the same page, so that we can win this thing, right? So he starts telling me about the problems, this and this. Oh, I typed this into ChatGPT and all this stuff. You guys know ChatGPT is wrong a lot of the times, right? And he's just talking about, oh, this and this, and oh, my estradiol is gonna get too low and this. It's like, dude, I've done 32 fucking shows, thousands of client testimonials. How many shows have you done? Zero. And you're talking to me about your estrogen levels are gonna get unhealthy? Like, bro, you are completely in the wrong sport.
Yeah.
Completely.
Hey, I want to add to the chat GPT or GPT. I don't know which one it is, but it's like I get corrected. Well, I don't know. It's GPT or GPT. I don't know. I just say one of them. If I get corrected, okay, sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about. But it's so funny because
Well, clearly you're
I
not using it, huh?
100%.
That's
I
it.
just had a client compete this past weekend. First time ever. He's 50. I posted about him. Well, his son competed too. And they wanted to do the whole dad, this and that. The son's in college. And the dad told me from day one, he's like, and the dad's been with me 26 weeks out. Like, did the whole prep. Now we're rebounding now and we're gonna do it the right way. And he's like, hey, listen, I'm not gonna use any names, but he's like, hey, listen, my son, this is just what the kids are doing nowadays. He's going to do the prep and he's going to type it in and give it all the feedback and blah blah blah. Okay, good. I don't give a shit. Like, cool. And then he told me, this is the dad. He's like, I guess because the son uses it so much and it's giving him so much information. He's like, I typed in what you had me doing and this and that, and it's, sometimes it's close and this and that, and I'm thinking to myself, God damn, here we are. Like, this is where we're at. Anyways, so, and this is like, I don't try not to. Most of the time, I'm not trying to be a dickhead. It just comes off as that, and so. Um, I don't know, 8 weeks out, the dad's like, "Hey, do you mind posing? What's his name?" Because him and I had started posing pretty frequently, and he's like, "Do you mind posing? What's his name?" And just give him some tips and this and that. And I'm like, "Sure, man. I don't mind. Like, I'll give him 15 minutes posing." So we did it, and I think we only did it one other time, and then like the night before the show, which the night before the show, they're in the hotel room and I'm posing dad. And he's like, "Hey, will you look at so and so for me?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes through his poses, blah, blah, blah. And I just had to throw this out there. I was like, "Hey, Chat GBT didn't do that for you, did he? Like, Chat GBT didn't FaceTime you and pose you for 30 minutes for a half hour, did he? And really run you through it and tell you you need to be feeling this. And is your mouth getting dry? Are you getting a pump? How much sodium have you done today?" And it's just like, that's just my way of really trying to be a dickhead because it's like, I know what I'm doing. Chat GPT and the dad told me he's got to give it so much information that like it's basically just telling you what you just told it. And I'm like, hey, whatever, man. But he did it for free. He turned out he liked his look. It was his first show. Good for him. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the world we live in right there.
Did it congratulate him after his
That's
show?
what I'm saying. Like, so if you didn't win, and he told me like it was a big show or whatever. He's like he got middle of the second call out, and I'm thinking to myself like, well, what did Chat GPT say when he told him what his placing was? I didn't say that, but I did make sure to say like, hey, did Chat GPT FaceTime you and pose you and all that tonight? Like, just remember that. I
Yeah,
don't know. I'm just like I said. I don't know.
ridiculous.
That's, I mean, on that topic, I mean, we get fact check now with ChatGPT everything. You
Yep.
know, the prime example is like you build somebody a diet now, and it's now clients are fact checking it with ChatGPT. Is this an optimal diet? Is this too much protein? Should I be eating more carbs? Like everything is, any sort of vitamins you prescribe or any protocols, like everything is, it's a reality that like everything you're doing is being, like fact checked. And then after they go to ChatGPT, then they usually go to three other coaches and ask them too.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I love it. I use it for a lot of stuff, but I use it as of lately. Let's just say the past 6 months for when you guys know what I'm talking about. Like when we were in it, all of us, we wanted to learn because we love this shit and we just want to learn. We want to learn more so that we can advance our career, right? As a bodybuilder and as a coach. So like I was always reading. I watched every single DVD that came out. I bought it the first day. I was obsessed. I'm still obsessed. Okay? I wanted to learn. She wanted to learn. And it's like nowadays you're just literally on call. So anytime someone asks me, "Hey, can I have an apple?" I screenshot. It's literally in your template. All fruits are approved. There you go. Anything.
Yeah.
Hey, what's the macros of an apple? I literally
Google.
screenshot ChatGPT. I said, literally, this is it. Anything that you can think of. Hey, how many fats are in this plant? ChatGPT, here you go. It's the stuff, the intricate stuff. That's why we're here. Like that's the knowledge that we have to where it's like, yeah, I want to explain, why are we increasing sodium peak week? Why are we cutting your water? This and that. That is the stuff that ChatGPT cannot do. But it's like nowadays, people just like anything. No one wants to think for themselves. So it's immediately Turner, 11 p.m. Hey, Turner, I'm out at a restaurant. Can I have a loaded baked potato? You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like half the time.
Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. Hey, coach, what is a dumbbell lateral raise?
yes.
There's certain times of the day I don't answer my phone.
Well, yeah, that's something I learned after a couple years of coaching where like, yeah, I just don't respond.
You know what's great, and I love it because that's where you see who needs clients and who's just getting started is when in their one-on-one coaching post it's like 24 access, blah blah blah, and I'm thinking to myself, yep, that shit'll change once you got 40 clients
Yeah.
in different time zones, different countries, whatever. When they're texting you and it's 4 o'clock in the morning, I mean, I get to it when it's business hours. I'm not now there's if they're inside 6 weeks out, I tend to answer a lot more. But if you're like right now, nobody's competing anymore unless you're in nationals.
Yeah.
I was telling someone this earlier. I was like, from this week till about mid-December is like the only time of the year where it's kind of like
Yeah.
it's not that I don't give a fuck, but it's like I know that with Thanksgiving coming around, You got work dinners, family dinners, leftovers. All right. Well, that damn near carries into and we just had Halloween, and then you got December. You got work dinners, friend dinners, family dinners, leftovers. So we're not making a lot of changes right now. And when you want to know why, that's exactly what I'm going to tell you. I just told you that you could have one more free meal a week. That's because I don't want you to feel guilty when it's a family dinner or a work event and they're handing out bread pudding and this and that. Like, eat it. I want you to eat it. I want you to be normal for that night in the setting with your friends or your family. I like as much as I didn't give a shit at family dinners or whatever, and they're sitting down and they're having this big spread. I'm just like, to me, when I was on a roll and I was determined to win nationals, like, you could put anything in front of me. I don't care. Like, you could, it didn't matter. I don't care if it was a piping hot, fresh pizza from Chicago. I'm just like, that doesn't that doesn't do it for me. Now, if this chicken and rice meal right here, I knew was gonna make me win nationals, shit, that's all I need, dude. And I'm sure you guys are the same way.
Hmm.
Like, I don't when you eat as much as we do, I don't have food temptations. Now, when we're in prep and you're 6 weeks out, like, I've still never been the guy where my wife can bring McDonald's home. She doesn't. I'm just making this analogy. Like, you know how the people are like, I can't believe you would bring McDonald's into the house and I have to sniff that and I'm eating tilapia and green beans. I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. In 6 weeks, I'll be able to eat whatever I want and I'm going to win a show. So I'm going to feel way better than you. In 6 weeks, you're going to be doing that. And you're going to be like, I need to lose 15 pounds. What's wrong? I don't know. Why do I feel like this? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
I've always been willing to do and I say whatever it takes, but like pretty much whatever it takes.
Hmm.
I don't know. And you can't teach that. That's got to be something that a client brings to the table. And you as a coach is like, all right, we can work. This guy's got some flaws, whatever, but the fact that he's got this right here, I can work with that kid. He's moldable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's about like for me, it's about having a certain level of respect for yourself for that goal. Like for me, it was just it didn't matter. Just like you said, we're all the same on this pod, where it's just like I don't care if you would have said you got to diet for 5 more years. I mean, there's literally nothing I wouldn't have done to win a pro card. Nothing,
No,
absolutely nothing. You could have said, I mean, it took me 10 years. I tell this to clients. It took me 10 years, a decade, to win my first show. 10 years. When people now are like, I want to turn pro on the first fucking time I go. It's like,
uh,
think about 10 years went by.
Yeah.
And I have good genetics. I mean, you guys have seen my pictures, like 10 years. That just shows you right there the era that all of us came up in bodybuilding. How did I not win a fucking show for 10 years? 10 years
they
I
were good.
waited, but when I won, I was on top of the world.
Absolutely.
And it was just like no one can take that accomplishment from me, you know?
That's right.
I thought like when I turned pro, like in 3 years, I was like, oh my God, that's like fast lane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now if everyone wants to turn pro, their first prep.
Well, I mean, it is much different now. I mean, there's so many avenues to do it, and there's so many, different classes, and there's 350 different pro qualifiers, and it is different. Because I remember whenever I started, like turning pro was a lifetime achievement, and it was something that
Mhm.
was like, God level. Like just to be a pro bodybuilder meant that you were literally in a class of your own, and it was a lifetime achievement. Like no matter what else you did, like that was. And now it's just like, I mean, there's 13 dudes in my gym that are pros. I never even heard of them. You know what I mean? And I mean, that's another rant. It's kind of overplayed, but like,
I'm doing the arm swinging, not without
Um,
calling any names.
yep, yep.
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah, and the thing kind of going back just a little bit, but like a lot of times it is with newer people, but not necessarily. But like when you guys don't make an update to that week, like Turner was saying, it's just like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And it's like, nothing's wrong. me changing your steak meal from 6 ounces to 8 ounces, you're not going to put on 12 pounds of muscle in that next 6 days, and to where we check in next. So it's like, it's always like, wait, no changes?
Yeah.
What?
Or then they're like, well, you haven't made changes in 4 weeks. Like, I basically am paying you and you didn't even make any changes. Like, are you even reading my check-ins? Like,
Yeah,
but I'm with you. It's like I'm not changing anything because we're cooking right here, dude. Like this is
yeah,
where you want to be. Yes, I can. And we listen. We've all done it. You got that person who's he's kind of like it's like you said. He's wondering why he didn't get any changes last week, and the next week he's wondering why, and then he's kind of feeling you out on Thursday, wondering like, hey, coach, I'm gonna go to the grocery store tonight. Just wondering, should I be getting anything different, like in case you're gonna make any changes? And then you're kind of like, fuck it, dude. I'll throw an apple in the diet so he'll shut up. You know what I mean? Like we've all done it.
that
Like I'm gonna pull his cardio back 4 minutes.
is spot on, spot on. And it's
You
just
know
like you
what you
said.
do? You take the carbs down this week, and then the next week you bring it.
Exactly. You gotta fucking gotta fuck them up.
Just
No.
so they feel like something's going on, but I mean, like there's nothing happening.
Well, I do think that sometimes, like when you make a change to the plan, and I'm not saying like what I'm doing is like life altering, but like you made a change to the plan, and there's people that look forward to a new plan change or a new set of workouts or oh man, like because there's people that they talk to every week that's like, Coach didn't make any changes this week. Coach didn't make any changes this week, and then they go into the gym on a Tuesday and they're like, dude, Coach just took me from rice in my pre-workout meal to pasta. Like, all right, we're doing something now. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, and really, you just want to ignite more interest or more enthusiasm out of them, and sometimes that's what you got to do. And I'm not saying like I do that a lot, but I'm saying like as a coach, it doesn't matter what sport we're talking about here, a coach knows how to push or push some I'm sorry, push a button to pull something out of a client. That's what makes a coach a good coach, along with a lot of other things. But sometimes you just threw an apple in there, and it's just like, you know what, coach? Like, like at 10:30, that apple is hitting the spot, man. And I had a crazy pump that day too. Like, you know what I'm saying? We've all had that person. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
And then Turner, I mean, it literally, spot on. And then it's on the story now. Coach Turner, Apple, pre-workout, game on. And it's just like all of
Apple
us
pump.
know this is just about consistency.
Yeah.
It's just checking the boxes every single day, every single week, weighing your food, and it's just like,
You got Chris Aceto, who's a muffin pump guy. You got these guys who are pie filling pump, and Turner Riddle's an apple pump guy. You know what I'm saying?
yes, sir.
I remember in the majority of my off seasons, I changed food probably like once every month or two. Because like once you found that sweet spot, like Turner said, like once you're cooking, I mean, you can run like you just ran with that plan. I mean, you might run with that plan for like 12 weeks.
Absolutely.
But like, and that's the kind of the difference, is like just like Turner saying, is like with the coaching setup now and people's short attention spans, where it's like, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? And it's like, you know what, man? I'll be honest with you. If you wanted me to be real with you, I probably wouldn't change his plan for the next 8 to 10 weeks. But like, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna grab at straws to give you something to hang on to. But like, that's a big thing with coaching now. I've even had it in prep where like I've had a couple clients where like week after week they're hitting new lows, hitting new lows, hitting new lows. Like I might refeed them once a week, and it's just like every week new low, and it's just like, you know what, man? I know this is boring, but it's working, and I'm not going to change it just for the sake of changing it. Like, but that's what you want. Like, you shouldn't have to sit there and change the plan every week. Like, that's a good coach where it's just like, hey, I mean, especially with some people, like I know you guys have had to have gotten it where it's like maybe you might get a lifestyle client and it's like, yeah, week one, here's your plan. And you end up running with that for like 4 to 8 weeks and they drop like, 10 pounds. And you're just like, wow, I was expecting to do more than this, but like, Yeah, you're just being consistent on a decent plan, and look at you in 4 weeks, like you're 10 pounds lighter and you're stronger. Like, and I think people have a hard time like processing that. It's like they're constantly thinking like, well, what's next? And you know what? You know what's the best part about these people? Those are the same people that never want to send training videos or they never want to talk about training or anything like that. When it's just like, you know what, man, if you want to progress right now, talk to me about what you're doing in the gym because like that diet's set. You know, your PEDs are in, your diet's set. Like, let me see your training footage and talk to me about how you're setting your workouts up. That's where you're going to make progress. But this idea that, like, oh, you know what, you're 3 weeks in, here's your new protocol, like that's just not happening.
Yeah. And for the listeners, or even for our clients, I'll be real with you guys. The last 4 weeks, you guys obviously know I coach myself. The last 4 weeks, the only change to my plan, there's been a 200 calorie increase or decrease in the last 4 weeks. Every single week, I am leaner. Every single week, I am stronger. Every single week in the last 4 weeks. And I'm in a push phase. I'm in an off season phase. So it's just like,
Well, I think it goes back to what Chris was saying earlier, where every week you know you're closer, or and so I feel like you probably naturally, because you've been doing it so long and you know how this goes, like I feel like you naturally are cranking the dial of the intensity. Maybe it's cardio, and it's crazy this shit that I used to do, and to me it's just like that's just something that would pop up in my head. But let's just say, and I coach myself too, and like, and I would make a plan, like write it out. I don't know how a lot of people do it, but I would make this plan and I would write it out, and I wouldn't change it until Sunday. And the reason I would change it on Sunday is because Sunday was always my leg day. And like if I'm gonna pull calories, the first day I wanted it to be on my leg day, because that calorie drop, you don't feel that first day. So I would make my diet Saturday night for Sunday. Sunday I would start it. I would go train legs. So like Wednesday, Thursdays when I'm feeling that calorie dump, I don't have to try train quads or whatever legs with that. But like there are these things like I would do, and I know this sounds really, I don't know, it just sounds immature, but like I'd be training for nationals, and instead of saying counting my reps like 1, 2, I would say N-A-T-I. Like that's the shit that I would do. I'd be on cardio. I'd be on cardio and I'd be watching these, like, I always watch a bunch of stuff, whether it's Michael Jordan or Ray Lewis, or listen to music, and let's just say that like my 30 minutes is up, but I'm in a song that I fucking love and it's got a minute and 45 seconds left. I'm gonna give that minute and 45 seconds everything that I got. My 30 minutes of cardio stopped, but like I'm gonna finish that song. And there's sometimes when another song would come on and I'm like, fuck yeah, I like that song too. And I would hit the dial up and go, take it up another speed or whatever. And it's like these people are like, woo, I'm at 27 minutes. I'm gonna do a cool down. I still got 3 minutes, but I'm just gonna back it down a little bit. And I'm like, fuck that. There is no back down. It's like when you get on, I mean, like when I would always gradually go up, up, up. But like when I started cardio, it was already, level 6 or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
oh yeah. Yeah,
And
I remember
I,
one time, like I used to have a training partner in college. He's been on the pod a few times, my buddy Kirkhoff. And like we were roommates too. So we lived a bodybuilding house. We would literally it'd be the night before and we'd be writing down our plan for the next day. And I remember one day, I mean, it was every workout was supposed to be crazier than the last one. You guys know. And like one specific back day, it's still my best back day, like to this day. It was literally 50 sets. Science would say that, oh, that's too many. But literally, we went in there, we did 50 fucking sets for back. We finished with 20 rep deadlifts. And like, I can tell you the next week, every fiber in my back, just walking, you could feel the lats just obliterated. But it worked, you know?
absolutely.
I think that's on that note, I think that's the thing that people don't consider with bodybuilding is like we're all extreme outliers. So like the general rules of thumb of like, it's like I hear a lot too with proper dieting and, your macros, protein, fats, carbs, and how many meals a day, because eating, less meals is better for your system and whatnot. And you don't want to constantly be eating or waking up in the middle of the night. But like, here's the thing. When I was trying to put on real size, I was eating 8, 9, 10 times a day. And and it's just like people talk about feeling full and bloated. To this day, I don't know what it means to be bloated because I was bloated for 20 years.
Hell
Like,
yeah.
you know, and that's how you were. And I remember setting my alarm clock, or when you're eating that much food, this is what people don't realize. When you eat that much food, when you're eating 5, 6 plus calories, 1,000 plus calories a day, you're waking up in the middle of the night to pee. And so like I would always have like a big 100 bar or the shakes or like at some point in time just junk, and we would eat in the middle of the night, and I was unable to push that cusp of size. And I have this conversation with some of my younger guys that are chasing size where it's just like, you know, you get to a point where you're like, it's kind of like where 4,000 meets 5,000. Then you start to use the heavier calorie foods. You're starting to just like chase the calories. And I explain to him, I'm just like, dude, this is just part of the game. You need to find ways to get those calories in. I remember doing carbolin, uh, and one scoop of that's 50, or what is it,
50
25 or
carbs.
50,
50
50 carbs.
carbs.
Yeah.
I remember doing, 2 scoops pre, 2 scoops intra,
Hell yeah.
sometimes 2 scoops post. And I mean, I remember being so excited about it because I'm like, wow, I just got 1,000 calories right there. And it's just like, this is what we do. Or I remember, eating the chicken and rice, and I'm doing like 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons of olive oil to it just to get the calories. So, like, there's definitely an idea that like what people don't realize with bodybuilding, this is like we were talking about blood work in the beginning, the normal rules don't apply here. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Like,
Right.
so like, yeah, training. And you know what's the best part is I've seen this where chiropractors, physical therapists, especially doctors, if you've ever hurt something and you go to a physical therapist, and they'll tell you like, okay, like, I want you to train this exercise at like 80% intensity. You know what I mean? Like say like you hurt your quad tendon, and they're like, yeah, go back into doing the leg press, but like train at like 80% intensity. Like, motherfucker, me on a leg press for 80% intensity is 1,000 pounds on that thing. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like, that's not, but like that's again like general science, physical therapist. This doesn't exist here. And that, coming full circle with the conversation, is why a lot of the physiques are just meh, because people are
Yes.
too sciencey, where it's like, yeah, you need a 50 set back workout sometimes to spur growth.
Yep.
You need the 30, 40 rep squat sets. I'll tell you what, if you want to feel like you literally looked at the face of God, go in the gym and do squats for 3 sets of 20 to 30 reps and train that way, and then come back and tell me that you don't feel like a bodybuilder, or you don't feel like the most crazy amount of dopamine you've ever felt, or your legs aren't sore for days. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's just like none of the rules apply here. And I think that's why it's like, yeah, you do got to be a little crazy. You got to be a little delusional to
Yep.
realize that and then go outside that spectrum. Again, coming full circle, I remember watching the Kai Green videos where he was like, yeah, I'd eat like 5, 6 chicken breasts a meal. And it was just like, okay, well, fuck, Kai Green's eating 5, 6 chicken breasts. That's what we need to do. So,
Yep.
like, I was eating 5, 6 chicken breasts a meal. And you know what? I got stronger. It was placebo because I was like, you know what? I'd walk in the gym and I was like, you know what? I'm hardcore as fuck because I just ate 6 chicken breasts pre-workout, and I know nobody else did that. Now I'm going to go bang shoulders for 2 hours. You know what I mean? We're going to go up and down the rack with laterals.
Yep.
And like, it's that crazy mentality outside of the spectrum that builds freak physiques. And
Absolutely.
that's what you can't put into words. And like, that's what you can't translate.
Yeah. That's it. No one wants to be extreme anymore, Chris. When
You,
it's
you
like,
know, Go
That's
ahead. Keep
exactly
going.
it.
Keep going.
yeah.
I think the ultimate clickbait here, and we should try this. And fucking Sam Sulek did do this with like his cheap foods and chocolate milk. Now I do know that because I've had a bunch of kids ask me about that. And I'm thinking to myself, chocolate milk? It's just a bunch of fucking calories in milk. Like, okay, yeah. It's 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 a little different than drinking regular milk, but damn, just drink it. Just eat it. You know what I'm saying? But like that I've made some posts over the years, but that's so funny. It takes me back when you said a big 100 bar. I used to buy those by the box because it was like, all right, a protein shake and a big 100 bar, and that was like a snack between meals because I had just had to. And like this is what's so crazy. And I look back now and um like the bubble gut or the distension or whatever, like I was criticized for that heavily. And like at the time, I didn't give a fuck because like I was eating more and I was getting stronger. And like Chris said, like I was the guy in the gym that could deadlift 7, 8 plates. I could squat 500 pounds for 20 reps. Like, how I felt after that? I didn't care that my stomach was a little distended. I didn't care what this guy that's 140 pounds thinks about my little bit of distension. Everybody else in the gym knows I'm the biggest, not maybe not the biggest dude in here, but like that dude's going to be a pro bodybuilder one day. And like that was enough for me. And there were so many like when you're anywhere between 200 and you're heading north of that, like you got to get real at 5'6", like you got to get creative as to how you're going to get 8 to 10,000 calories in, whether it's sushi every other day or it's pizza or it's you know whatever, dirty bulk or this and that. Like I ate a lot of clean calories, and I still to this day only really eat clean foods, and that's probably hindered me a little bit. But and I think about this nowadays, like talking to some of my other coach and bodybuilder buddies. It's like, I like staying around. I've always had a fast metabolism because I think my volume in my training was so high. Now my volume in my training days are much lower, but I still stay around 9 to 10% body fat. I don't really get much over that. But like part of me is like, man, fuck it. Like, what if I do a pizza a week and then, get a dessert at five guys, get a which I don't really even like. I enjoy it, but I don't enjoy going and get a whole pizza just to eat the whole pizza to get the calories in. Like if we're at Chris's house and I've already eaten my bodybuilding meals and you're serving pizza, I might have a slice or two just because like who doesn't like a hot piping fresh pizza? But like I'm not the guy that's like I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna finish this and eat a whole pizza and then I'm gonna get some cinnamon twists and blah blah blah. Like I just don't like that. Now there was many years where I ate so much food that it was uncomfortable. Nowadays I'm like I'd just rather eat 5 big meals and just call it a day. Like I'm not trying to push the scale up to 270 before anymore. There was times when I was creeping up 5 pounds, every couple months, and I was just digging it. And it's like more food, more food. Yeah, you're getting some distension, but guess what? I'm strong as I mean, we had a challenge. We had a challenge with one of my training partners one time to see who could be the first one to dumbbell press the 150s. And like that doesn't come from just like you have to will to want to do that. But when you're eating, when you're doing the 100 grams carbolin pre, 100 grams carbolin intra, 100 grams carbolin post, like you can do things like that.
Hmm.
I remember real quick. I remember
Try
back
it
whenever I
tomorrow.
was,
Huh?
what's
I'm
that?
gonna try it tomorrow. I'm gonna take
I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go two scoops, but
I'm gonna try the 150s. I'm just
you
kidding.
might need
Tell you
some
what,
Retatrutide if you do that shit.
it was expensive. I mean, it was expensive.
Yeah.
Carbolin's not cheap.
No.
Nope.
I I remember speaking of the big 100 bars. I remember vividly whenever I was like 21 years old, and we could start going out to the clubs. And I remember like,
You took one in your pocket with you. Come on, we
did I
know.
tell this story? Did I tell
No,
this
but I
story?
already know. Like, I'm a fucking bodybuilder, dude.
I
Like,
was gonna say, holy shit, have I told this story already?
I would
I
sneak into fucking concerts with protein in a bag and buy a water jug and stick my protein in a and shake it up and drink it. Like, I've done all that shit. Like,
I definitely have told that story on some podcast before because I remember we would always go out and I'd be in the club bathroom, which they're just a total cesspool. But I'm sitting in the back eating big 100 bars because like we had to get our food in. And anybody that knows Like when you're young and you're like in a nightclub or you're whatever you're drinking, period, man, I'd wake up 3 to 5 pounds lighter the next day. And that's the reason I hated drinking for none other reason that like you go out like when you're trying to push size and boom, you just drop 3 pounds on the scale. And that's why like I never drank like in my 20s for the most part.
I always looked at it as a not the drinking part, but like, hey, if we're gonna go out and stay out till 3 o'clock in the morning, that's one more fucking meal that I'm gonna be up and I'm gonna get it in. Like, dude, I did all that shit in college. Um, Subway had a buy one get one free footlong, and it was like you could get
I remember.
this, or this, or this. I would buy one, and I would eat that right before bed, and then I would buy and the second one was for it wasn't for breakfast, but it was like the snack meal between breakfast and the next meal at college, and it was like, dude, I did all that shit, and nowadays people are just like. I mean, like you get me. I mean, I'm eating 5 meals in a shake or 4 meals in a shake, and coach, I'm just having a hard time. I'm like, dude, you're driving me nuts here. Like, you don't want to get big. And I hate to sound so, I don't know what that sounds like, immature, but like, that's why they hire us is to get fucking big. I'm telling you, like, blend your chicken up with honey and whatever. I don't care. Just do it. Like, dude, I would eat 10 to 12 ounces of chicken, 300 grams of rice. And I don't know about you guys, but there was a phase of my life where I had like intensified my gag reflexes where like you're three quarters through a meal and like I'm like and I would get this like sense of like a hot flash, and I had to like go get in front of a like you know how you get when you get trend like when right before you start coughing with trend, and you're like, oh shit, let me run some hot water or some cold water over my wrist, or like put a cold like I would have to do that, and I'd have to just be like, all right, chill Turner, chill Turner, chill Turner, and like me being me, like I still had probably two ounces of chicken and like 80 grams of rice left. Like I'm not leaving that on the damn. I'm not leaving that in this container. I've got to eat that because that determines the success of my training
I don't
today.
eat that. I don't eat that. I failed today and I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and be lighter.
It's that simple, dude. It's that
I
simple.
just I just had this
Every day.
conversation. I had this conversation with somebody else. I forget who it was, but we had to have discussed this before. But I remember in peak off season, it takes 45 minutes to eat a meal. And
Absolutely.
like you're
Yeah.
sitting there, you're chewing,
Yeah.
guzzling. And then the whole time I'm eating it, I'm staring at the clock, realizing like that's 1 minute less to the next meal, 1 minute less, 1 minute. And I'm getting so much fucking anxiety because like I know that's less and less time before I gotta eat again. And I haven't even finished this meal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dude, we need to do another one. I got to run, but like I really want us to make a conscious effort to like not that I care about clickbait, but I guarantee you if we started talking about like maybe you call it junk loading or junk eating or whatever, like I guarantee you that would get some hits.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we have so much to talk about. We'll
Oh,
do it. We'll
I
do it.
know I know we didn't even get to talk about what you wanted to have the podcast about, and I'm sorry, Stephanie.
Oh no.
oh, I got a list of rants.
Yeah, I'll
Well,
I'll I'll close with this one. But yeah, you're good, brother.
Chris has got. I want to talk about Chris's rant for the week too. On the next one, you guys let me know when you want to do another one. I'm always down, but I got to get out of here.
All right.
Yeah, I
Thank
certainly will,
you.
brother. You have a good night, man.
Y'all keep it up. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, we'll wrap up. Chris, I remember before you even said it, I was already thinking, and I know you've been there, to where you literally tap out. Like that food is not going down, and I'd have like 4 ounces left of chicken and whatever rice mush that I had spit out because I couldn't swallow it. And then I'd save it for the next meal. So I'd be on like meal 5 or 6, and I have that meal plus
It's
this
like
plus this mush that I have to finish.
that's like compounding your debt. That's like bad credit cards where they keep stacking on top of each other.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, like right now I don't need to pay it, but in 2 hours I'm getting double fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I would do is I would literally, luckily I was just single, so I could just sit there in my own misery. And I would put on a hype song, whatever it may be, AC/DC, and I'd put it on and I'd hype myself up like I'm hyping myself like for a set and just like, and then guzzle until it was gone.
Yep. You're drinking the meal.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then every once in a while, I mean, I'm really carrying this joke out, but like every once in a while, you know what really sucks is when you're eating and then you realize you only have a couple swigs of your you
That's
only
it.
have a couple swigs of your water bottle left, and you're like, well, fuck, like I gotta make, and then so the sips become smaller and smaller. So each time you take a bite, you can still like get a shot and like, you know what I mean? Like you're
Yeah.
trying to get it down.
Oh yeah. Been there
Yeah.
many times. Man. Yeah, this was a great one, man. We got so much stuff to talk about next week.
Yeah. Yeah. Good time. I'm glad it was a good time. I look forward to it. Can't wait to see this one.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, that does wrap us up for today.